Hi everyone, welcome to my first Brawler's Bash game battle report. This is me taking on Once Bitten of YouTube fame, as all of you should probably know him. This was a grudge match that I laid out before him and he graciously accepted. And because we set it up so early, we got to play on table 1 in sort of a private room. So that was pretty cool. But it was a great game, and we'll go ahead and get on to it with deployment. I'm not going to go into too much detail on my army list because I have the video that myself and Michael did detailing the full army list, so I'll just kind of tell where everything is at. Okay, so starting on my left, he has a unit of 5 Demigryph Knights with Standard Bearer Musician. Behind the hill, you can barely see them. He has a level 4 Battle Wizard Lord on Light with the Van Horseman Speculum, the Scroll of Shielding, Talisman of Preservation, and a level 1 with, I believe it was the Dispel Scroll back there as well. Then he's got that big unit on top of the hill is 18 Inner Circle Knights with full command and the Standard of Discipline. With them is his Captain BSB with Pistol, Luckstone, Crown of Command, Relic Sword. He said he usually puts his General in there, but given my actually possessing the Hellheart this time, he didn't want to run his Wizard Lord General right down my throat, so he's hiding him instead. Next to that, you see a unit of 5 Knights in the back there with Standard and Musician, and with them is his third wizard. It's another level 1 of Light with the Earthing Rod. Actually, I just noticed I made a mistake. Both of those hiding wizards are level 1, because his level 4 is the one with the little blue thing on top of his staff here, and that second unit of 5 Knights with a Standard Bearer Musician. Up in front of there, he has a unit of 5 more Demigryph Knights with Standard, Musician, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. Then he's got 2 steam tanks. And they're lined up here because that little picture of a chimera there is actually a mountain chimera for the scenario. Whoever does most wounds to it gets 300 points, and if it dies before the end of the game, both of us get 200 points. And then way over on this side, he has another unit of 5 Demigryph Knights with Standard Bearer, Musician, and a Gleaming Pennant. Wow. There is an awful lot of high armor in this list. And for those of you who know kind of what I'm bringing, you realize high armor is not really what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a lot of low toughness, elves, stuff like that. So I was pretty much in trouble here and knew it. So to face that, in the that brown area is a forest, I've got my Redirector Ogres. Next to them is a Saber Tusk, my 6 Man-Eaters with Poison and Swift Stride. Behind them is my 9 Ogre Bulls with my Firebelly and my level 4 Slaughtermaster in them. Ideally, I'm wanting some chance to kind of block some stuff up before I have to send my big guys in to do some damage. I'm also hoping that I can do some damage with the poison shots from the Man-Eaters, so we'll see if that works. It's a little bit of armor piercing, but I really had my only thought on how to deal with the steam tanks is the Bone Gnar spell out of the Maw, where it does 2d6 strength 2s with no armor save. So I'm really not got a great A-game plan for this one. Then you can see I've got my 7 Iron Guts with my Tyrant and the BSB. My 3 Yetis, they're 2 by 1, 6 Lead Belchers, a second Saber Tusk, and 3 Man-Eaters up on the hill. They have scouting, but I frankly didn't want to feed him the points of putting them up front, so I decided just to use them to anchor this side, and they also have immune to Psychology, which I'm hoping is going to help me with those Demigryphs. So I end up getting first turn. I do come up quite a bit. Not super aggressively at this point, because I don't want to give him easy charges, but I definitely want him to know that I'm there. Move up the Saber Tusk so it can do some redirecting maybe. And I'm basically ignoring the Chimera. I know he's got a better chance of destroying it than I do, and knowing that he's going for points, he's going to, so I'm just going to worry about dealing with him and let the Chimera be. Over here, I've got the Saber Tusk moving up to redirect these demigryphs. I'm hoping he's going to go in there, kind of go off to the side, or maybe even reform, and I can just start pumping lead belcher shots into him. So we go into magic phase, and I put my A-game plan in effect and use the spell, and I think I do 2 wounds to his steam tank. Really wasn't expecting it, but anything that's going to make those guys more likely to misfire is a win in my book. So super happy about that. That's a very, very good start. And then back here, I get very lucky as well. I'm really doing well on the magic phase. I get fulminating flame cage off on these knights. So he's going to have to not move unless he wants to run the risk of taking some damage. I think I kill one of the knights with fulminating flame cage. So it's definitely good. I'm starting to thin that unit down, which is really, I guess, all I can do. But we'll see. So I decided, because there wasn't really any other good targets that I could realistically hurt, I pumped my 6 shots with the poison man-eaters into the Chimera and actually managed to inflict 2 wounds on it. So I was kind of happy there. So we go to Empire turn 1. Demigryphs start by charging the Saber Tusk. I decided to flee because I was hoping that I could get far enough away that they would just stall out, maybe get a few inches forward, and then I can start shooting them. But I rolled, I believe it was a 4 on my flee roll, because apparently my cats just don't go anywhere. So they're still way out in the middle of there, and that could be problematic. And as you can see, it was problematic, as if you look very, very closely, you can see the goo that was once that Saber Tusk under the claws of that center demigryph. On the plus side, though, this is actually pretty good. I can either shoot with my lead belchers here, or he's close enough where I could throw those man-eaters in and maybe get lucky and do some damage. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here. Then on this side, this demigryph unit comes over to let me know he's in the neighborhood. I really need, at this point, just to delay some things and let me pick my battles. With this much 1-up armor save, I'm not going to go through anything quickly, so I think what the biggest thing I want to avoid here is having to deal with more than one of these units at a time. And so I think those ogres are going to go do that for me. So over here, because he is afraid of the Hellheart, my opponent moves back the 2 Knight bunkers for his wizards and moves up the... I think he moves the demigryphs up slightly, basically daring me to try to make the charge that is probably going to fail. And I don't think he moved up the steam tanks very much either. He was generating conservatively and didn't spoil anything. Yeah, I think here's what you can see. He moved the 1 up to match the demigryphs. The other one ended up not moving very much. I think he rolled he tried to do 2 movement and rolled 2. It was something very, very small. So I'm thinking maybe I can charge the Yetis up and do some damage, but I'll have to kind of see that. It's been a while since I brought the Yetis out to play, and I kind of forget what they're good at. Over here, he looks like he miscasts something and blows up 2 of his knights. Is that what I'm seeing? I think that is the case. I'm sorry. I may be a little vague on some of these details. It is actually the night I got home from Brawlers that I'm recording this first video. So it's 5 games in 2 days, and it's a lot. But yeah, I think that was a miscasting, blow up some guys. So now we go into Empire shooting. Between the 2 steam tanks trying to shoot the Chimera and bounce through it into my ogres, he manages to not do any wounds to my ogres, but put 6 wounds on the Chimera. So it only has 2 wounds left. And with nothing else going on, we go into Ogre turn 2, and I start by charging my man-eaters right down the throat of these demigryphs. if I can do well, these are a lot of points I can potentially get. I think it's 300 or some odd points for the Demigriff units, and I'm only throwing less than 200 points of man-eaters at them. So if nothing else, I can maybe hold them up, do enough damage so that something else can handle them when I need to. But I was pretty happy with that. Over here, I do charge the Yetis into the weakened steam tank. Well, I guess weakened is a relative term. But the one that has 2 wounds on it, I'm hoping maybe I can sneak another couple through. Again, the Yetis, for all intents and purposes, aren't super important because they're not going to accomplish a whole lot here. So weakening the steam tank and opening up that 250 points for me could be very big. And it's frankly taking me a little while getting used to not caring about what dies. So, okay, I'm including this picture because it was in the camera, but I'll be absolutely honest, I have no idea what this picture represents. It's in the right order and everything, but I don't remember like swift reforming and running these ogres away. I have no idea why I did this, but I figured I would at least show you guys what's going on. Maybe I was hoping he'd run through the forest in dangerous terrain or something. I'm really not sure what I was planning there. But here we have the Gorger come on. I really want to just cause trouble with this guy, get him to make some moves. If I can get him to move his casters closer, brings them in better range for the Hellheart, and that's really what I want to do. I want to pop the Hellheart, and I want to burst this Light Council before he can do too much damage to me. And here you can see what I'm doing with the rest of everybody else. I'm kind of moving them up, daring him to bring those Demigriffs in. Probably a stupid dare to make, but I really want to get him closer to me before I start throwing charges around. Big thing I'm doing wrong here, I'll go ahead and point it out. The Chimera is impassable terrain, so I'm basically wedging my best unit, being the Iron Guts, behind it, and it's now a tight fit to get them in anywhere. And then you can see here, I basically decided with the Lead Belchers, forget the Demigriffs and letting the Man-Eaters handle them, and maybe I can pop a couple more wounds, or I guess a couple of wounds onto the steam tank on the right that hasn't moved. So I'm kind of staying at a good distance so he's unlikely to hit me if he pumps movement into it, but it gives me some shooting at it, and I frankly have nothing else to do to try and hurt that thing, so why not? So magic was pretty unimportant. We go into combat, and I end up killing a Demigriff, and I take 1 wound on my champion and 1 wound on the unit. I believe I win this combat, and he doesn't go anywhere. And over here, the Yetis completely failed to accomplish anything of note. So we go into Empire turn 2, and the Demigriffs decide to come charge my ogres. Now, I was originally going to run and try and escape until Once Bitten reminded me that this is Brawler's Bash, and it really doesn't matter if this unit dies, provided I can try and kill something. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I don't really have any way to get away, but it gives me the opportunity to kill these Demigriffs, and I'm going to take it. Over here, he tried to charge the Ogre unit in the front and rolled a 2 or 3. It was something really pathetic, and didn't accomplish anything other than coming off the hill a little bit. So I'm very, very happy with that. I think I can handle the Demigriffs with the Ogre unit. I am certain I could not handle the Demigriffs in the side and the Inner Circle Knights in the front. Over here, he grinds on the Yetis with the steam tank, killing 1 and putting 2 wounds on the second Yeti. And then, apparently because a Yeti scared him badly when he was a child, Once Bitten throws the second steam tank into the Yetis in what may be the single best piece of overkill that I saw the entire tournament. So I'm very happy that the Yetis are getting the respect they deserve. Not so happy that they're going to be stuck in those tank treads for the rest of the game. And over here, he brings his mages around away from the Gorger into the center of this area here, and then turns that night bus to face the Gorger, or the little night group to face the Gorger to deal with them. This is what I was waiting for. I need to get the Hellheart off ASAP, and as you can see, I do it. I end up rolling a 5, so 25 inches catches every mage he's got. He did 2-dimensional cascades, which wiped out a unit of knights, killed 2 of the level 1s, I think it was 2 of the level 1s pretty much vaporized, and did a wound to his level 4, and I don't remember what it did to the other level 1, but it was awesome, and I was super happy about it, particularly since I think this is the first successful use of the Hellheart that I've ever done. So that was exactly what I wanted, and I could tell the look on my opponent's face as soon as he realized that what he had done was just like, oh no. But yeah, I was super happy and was certainly going to take advantage of that circumstance. Then in combat, basically the Hellheart shut down his entire magic phase because he didn't have anything else left. But in combat on this flank, the Demigryphs are kind of whiffing. They do a couple more wounds. I don't really get much back, but I needed a 4 and nailed it on leadership. So I'm staying around and keeping them busy, which is an excellent use of 144 points, or 188 points, whatever it is. And then over here, needless to say, the steam tanks just absolutely destroy the Yetis, and impact hits were ridiculous. I don't even remember what they were. But the Yetis are gone, and now these 2 steam tanks are free to do whatever it is that steam tanks do to angry paper chimera. So over here, I moved my fire belly up, hoping that the great weapon would help, but the Demigryphs basically stomp them and kill another ogre and put a couple wounds on another one. But luckily, I still have 3 full ranks, and so I'm stubborn on a rerollable 10 because my general's nearby, and I stick, which is exactly what I needed to do. So we go into Ogre's turn 3, and I start off trying to charge the Iron Guts and the Man-Eaters into the Demigryph unit up at the top, and fail both, and so just kind of sit here doing nothing, and that was not helpful to my overall battle strategy, let's put it simply. Definitely frustrated. Over here, I wanted to go ahead and put the lead belchers in the building, mainly because I don't think the steam tank can assault the building, and that's really the only thing I'm worried from them about on this side. So kind of went to hide in the building. I can keep shooting at the steam tank and it can't get me. Now that may be incorrect assumption. If that is, please somebody let me know. But that was my plan. And over here, I'm guessing those ogres must have fled somehow. And I don't remember why. But they're rallied and they're coming back to hit the Demigryphs in the flank. I'm hoping for some more points in combat res. I did turn to face them last turn, so maybe I can actually do some hurt on them this turn. And my magic phase goes off, and it is fantastic because I bubble troll guts. Which is good, except for the fact that the Demigryphs that are going to come screaming into my face are flaming attacks, but I've forgotten this at this point, and because I'm stupid, I don't read the list that my opponent so graciously provided to me. And but at least there I've got bubble troll guts over pretty much everything on this side, so the Demigryphs on my left aren't going to hurt so much. And we go into combat, and I put another wound on a Demigryph, and he does a little bit more damage to me. I lose, I think I need a 6 or a 5, something low, and end up nailing it. So this Man-Eater is yet again holding up these Demigryphs for the third straight combat in a row, which is good because I need at least one flank where he's not putting a crazy amount of pressure on me. That would be fantastic. Over here, I take one more ogre worth of wounds. I don't do anything back. I think I lose, but again, I'm steadfast on a 10 rerollable and I stick it. And and the other thing that I forgot to mention, and it'll come up here in a second, I managed to charge the Gorger into the back of his giant night bus to hold it up. The Gorger's unbreakable, and I'm hoping that'll help. But he moved his BSB in base to base, and we kind of whiffed at each other that first combat. So here, obviously, he's going to charge those demigriffs into my man-eaters. I stood and shot, and one-up armor saves suck. So I didn't do anything to him. And really, if these man-eaters can't hold, these demigriffs are absolutely going to ruin my world. And yeah, here is the... last turn after he didn't kill my Gorger, you can see him waving his hand up there in front. He did reform, so this is just a picture to show the Inner Circle Knights are now facing the Gorger with his BSB up front, which is fantastic news for me because I want to killing blow that BSB. It would make me so happy. And then you see he starts scattering his wizards again. He does send those 3 remaining knights from what used to be the bunker unit before the multiple explosions from the Hellheart into the side of the Gorger, so there's that. Really, the Gorger is gonna die. I mean, it's kind of designed to die. I just need those killing blows. I need to do something to gain me points before he goes down. That's all I'm looking for. So magic, I think he gets Briona's Time Warp off on like everything over there. And then we go into combat. So on this side, he finally manages to kill the Man-Eater, but as you can see, the Man-Eaters managed to kill one of the demigriffs and put 2 wounds on another one before they go out. So that was pretty awesome. And over here, Gorger for the win. The small unit of knights, I think it was, failed their fear check, so they didn't do crap to the Gorger. He whiffs with his BSB. I think he does 1 wound to the Gorger with the BSB. It wasn't much. And then the Gorger turns around and killing blows his BSB, which is fantastic news for me. That's a lot of points, and again, all that matters is that I kill things. So over here, obviously with no Troll Guts on, the demigriffs do some decent damage. They kill one of my man-eaters, put 2 wounds on the unit, 1 wound on the champion, and I flee. But he decides not to pursue, I guess because he would have clipped something, and reforms instead. So my man-eaters have gotten away, but now that ogre unit is very much in trouble. Over here, I do finally manage to kill a demigriff. I take another 4 wounds from onto the ogres and 1 wound on my Slaughtermaster, but it still doesn't matter because I'm still steadfast on Leadership 10 rerollable, and I'm not going anywhere. So this is pretty much all my movement here in turn 4. I've got my Tyrant Tok'ra charges out of the unit of Iron Guts and slams into the back of the demigriffs in a total move of bravado that I think is awesome. The rest of the Iron Guts turn around to get ready for the demigriffs coming in from the right side. My man-eaters rally, and the 3 ogre units slam into the side of the demigriffs. Here I decide during my magic, I may get Troll Guts off again. I don't quite recall, to be honest with you. At this point, I don't even think my opponent has a level 4 anymore. I think the Hellheart made his level 4 level 2 or something to that effect. But the Leadbelchers shoot at the demigriffs and manage to kill 1 more of them to help thin it down. And over here in combat, my general beats the demigriffs and runs them down. So he's standing there out in the middle of nowhere in a very, very bad place, but triumphant atop the corpses of numerous demigriff knights. And I was super happy about that. That was just incredibly awesome. And over here, the Gorger finally dies, but he does. I think he actually kills that little knight unit that was in the back. Maybe not. That might be them. Yeah, okay. So I did not kill the little knight unit in the back. That was a lie. I think I killed a couple more knights before the Gorger was put down. And now this big knight bus has turned around and is facing my general, which is a very uncomfortable feeling, but he's still eating demigriff and isn't paying attention. Over here, there's some wounds done around. I'm still steadfast on my main unit. I may even win this combat because of the static combat res, but ultimately nobody's going anywhere. I can't do any wounds through the 1-up or 2-up armor save, whatever he's got after my strength is done with him. So it's just not getting the job done without magical assistance. So we go into Empire turn 4. The demigriffs, or no, not the demigriffs, the normal inner circle knights come charging into my general. He's dead, but you know what? I'm thinking maybe I can challenge and just wail on a dude in the challenge, get a bunch of things so that I just don't break. That's really my only hope. But it's not looking good. Over here, he moves his demigriffs a little bit more, I think, but not much. I'm not sure why. I'm seeing. I might have actually. I think he may have shot the building that the lead belchers are in with one of the cannons, because I'm not seeing all my lead belchers. That might be why that is. But ultimately, I think the lead belchers are just a small thing he's not paying much attention to right now. So over here, we go to combat, and the general does some more wounds to the knights, but he didn't have any more characters in that unit, so I declared a challenge. He refused it. Ended up beating me, breaking me, and running me down, which is super sad, but at very least nobody else panicked from the death of my poor general. And then things start going bad. That was just enough of the pump for the demigriffs to break. I think they killed the ogres to a man. No, they had to have broken. So they broke the ogres. Ogres ran, get caught. Demigriffs slam into the flank of the man-eaters. And this is really where everything is starting to fall apart for me. There is, yeah, like my next turn, I think that is, I shoot the demigriffs some more, and my iron guts fail to charge into them because they're just basically tempting me. You'll notice the pictures start going a little faster here because it's definitely going badly for me very, very quickly. So I'm just at the point now where I'm trying to kill whatever I can kill to get points. So over here, the combat went really bad. Demigriffs ate all but 2 of the man-eaters, broke them, and failed to catch them by an inch. So that's where they're standing. But it is going into the demigriff's turn, so those man-eaters are really screwed. So Empire turn starts off by the demigriffs charging the man-eaters, who decide to flee the heck off the table. The demigriffs do not follow suit, and so this gives me what I think is one of my last chances of getting some points. If I can do enough damage to the demigriffs to make them panic and run off the board, I might be able to get a few more points before this craziness has ended. And just to prove that it's not a good day for an ogre, have some inner circle knights up the butt. Yeah, it's bad. Again, I probably could have fled, but they probably would have caught me, and at least this puts them close to me, so maybe I can run the risk of doing some damage. I mean, the Iron Guts can actually hurt these guys. They're strength 6. My BSB is strength 7. So maybe I can do some damage there. And you can see he's moving his steam tank right, basically point blank up to my lead belchers in the building. And he's turned the demigriffs around, so if he can shoot the lead belchers and break them and they run out of the building, he's basically in a position where he can charge them on turn 6 and run them right off the board. So that was pretty smart. Over here, the rest of his... Sorry about the really blurry picture. But the rest of his army is pretty much just coming up. They're staying well out of lead belcher range. But I guess they got lonely sitting in the corner all by themselves. Actually, I think he's moving up to try and banishment, or... I think he has banishment and Shem's Burning Gaze left on this guy. That sounds right. To try and take out the lead belchers. Needless to say, the Iron Guts, they gave it their all, but it's really hard to take the entire freaking cavalry corps of the Empire army up the butt, and they get beat and run down. So at this point, all I have got left on the board is lead belchers going into my turn 6. So, as you can see, I've got lead belchers in turn 6. There's really nothing, like all that stuff down at the bottom is just a dead pile. It's not actually guys there. So my lead belchers open up on the unit of demigriffs, hoping to panic them and run off the board. I do kill the one I need, so I'm thinking this is fantastic. All he's got to do is fail a leadership 8, and he rolls a 6 and stays. And then during Empire turn 6, he does some magical damage. He ends up doing, like, kills an ogre and some extra wounds. And then he ends up shooting it with the steam tank. The other steam tank he uses to kill the Chimera, so we're getting points for that. But the steam tank, he shoots the building, kills all but one of the lead belchers, and they flee running to this point. So this is where the game ends. And because that unit is brought below 25%, he gets half points for that. And for all intents and purposes, I got tabled. So this is another shot of the carnage as I kind of discuss what we're doing here. This was a great game. I had my opponent was awesome. I'd never actually met Once Bitten before, and I mean we met the night before, but it was awesome to get a chance to play him. He's definitely a very solid, very tactical player, and it's fun playing somebody who's sort of so different from you. Because I really learned a lot about how he put together his tactics and how he was able to threaten kind of everything at once and work in an attempted pincer move. Several of the things he did was not things that I would have thought of before, particularly in terms of kind of judging his overruns and trying to clip additional units, stuff like that. So it was very cool getting to play with him. This also showed me that I was not equipped in any way to deal with a lot of 1-up armor saves, so I was really hoping I wouldn't face much of it in the future. But I actually did pretty good, all things considered. I killed a lot. The Hellheart was fantastic. And I got some points from the secondary objective. So by the end of everything, when we totaled it up, I had actually earned about 2,200 points, which is pretty awesome. When when I went in, if those of you who watched the video about when I was talking about my list, my goal for this is to get at least 1,500 points a game. And 2,100 is a bit above that. I mean, it's still, in Brawler's terms, it's a mild, like a draw, maybe a mild loss, something like that, because you really need to be getting 4 to 5,000 points a game to have a chance of being in the top tables. But at this point, I'm not even expecting that. So I'm just here to play 5 games to have fun. And this was definitely an awesome way to get started. I was really very pleased to play this game, very pleased to get my ogres on the field. And for what I was up against, I felt I did very strong. I think the 1-up armor save list is not a great matchup for this particular ogre army I've built. Maybe if I was like Iron Gut starring it with a lot of strength 6 plus attacks, it would be one thing. But I don't think I have the tools for it. But even without that, I did very well in my estimation, and I am certainly looking forward to game 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. Please leave any comments, any likes below, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.